Halloween
Forever.
Okay, guys. Steve, as the de facto art director of Halloween is Forever, could you do me a favor?
Yeah. Possibly.
Paint me like one of your French girls.
Yes, can be.
Welcome, boys and ghouls, to
I
another
just-
motherfucking.
Brian, I'm just
Brian.
imagine. I'm Meg. I'm just
I'm
imagining.
Meg.
big
I'm
boobs.
Meg. I'm just.
I'm just like imagining you with like very big tits right now.
Well, you ain't far off. Anyway, boys and ghouls, welcome to another one of these fucking minisodes, guys. We have a whole thing to deal with today. It's just a whole ass thing. I just stopped watching a little film. We all watched it. Meg, you watched it today. Steve, I think you watched it yesterday or something like that when it came out.
I watched it at like 4 a.m.
Yeah. It is a
Steve's wild.
It is a Tubi original. It is called Titanic 666, which is the title says it all, honestly. It is honestly not demonic though at all. Like
No.
there is nothing even really remotely demonic about the movie. But just the quality of the title, I think, would say that. So anyway, we'll get into it here in a damn second. But you know what? It just occurred to me is, should we reveal what our dang topic is going to be for the next Showdown episode?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You guys talk amongst yourselves while I look that up then. How's that?
Okay.
Because I completely forgot about it.
Fair enough. We can also talk about our beerses while you look that up.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. What, you guys got beersies?
I got
Oh,
beers.
yeah. Yeah.
I
So
got
what
beers.
you got there, Steve?
I have from Dewclaw Brewing, and it's part of their Patriarchy series. I don't know if you've seen or had or any of those, but this was the one they released for March, and it's their Irish Cream Dessert Stout.
Mm.
So yeah, 9.4%. I have had a real hit or miss kind of experience with this series of Patriarchy, because it calls out to me because I do love fatty, gross pastry stouts,
Mhm.
but it always seems like they're like most of them seem to miss the mark on like what they're shooting for.
Can I say that like I do not understand Duclaw? Like especially like you hear patriarchy. I love that fucking name, but I would expect that from like someone who has more of like a metal vibe. But I feel like they just do ridiculous names for some of their stuff. Like citizens don't get their niche. I don't get their vibe. I don't understand it. And they're always hit or miss. They're always hit or miss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know, and I feel like maybe they've had like I don't know how long like the brewers have been working there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like it seems like they took a real hard turn and started doing like these patriarchies, and then they have another sour series because they did like a unicorn fart sour type thing going on.
Are you just saying they hired like a bunch of punks and metalheads, and that's what's happening right now?
Maybe, I don't know, or they might just have like a cycling crew of punks and metalheads.
Maybe.
They have, like, but
I got this crazy idea.
yeah, I think this one is kind of a hit though.
Okay.
Even though we're talking hits and misses, this one's kind of a hit because like at 9.4, it tastes. I mean, it tastes a bit like a Guinness clone, but there's a little bit of a sweet creamness to it because and that's like what they're shooting for. A lot of the other ones where they try to get like super complex, those are usually the misses. This one's fine.
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely. I feel like when you're like definitely trying to add all the layers, I think it's hard sometimes to deconstruct things, and I think it takes a very skilled brewer. I'm even trying to think about like someone who's like deconstructed something so fucking well. Actually, like I'll even think of like because I was at Cinderlands earlier this week that they have their mule like ginger mule like tart shake out, and I feel like they did a pretty good job deconstructing a mule
Okay, yeah.
You know, so like when you're trying to like mimic something, I think it can be a little more difficult and stuff like that.
I had a recent run-in with something like that I was pretty impressed with, but it wasn't beer even. It was actually down at Apis.
Okay.
And
what do they have?
Dave gave us a taster of his raspberry cheesecake.
Okay.
And it hits every note. And
Nice.
like he was telling us he has like a he just puts like real cream cheese in it. Like it's dehydrated cream cheese that he can put into it. And then he also said to maintain gluten free, there was it's a gluten free graham cracker.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
But like it's amazing because you can like smell it and taste it. So it's like all of those flavors. You know, it goes through, but yeah, he deconstructed that one perfectly.
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to him too, because I think I actually saw that they're might be releasing the lemon bourbon mead they do every year, and that is legit one of my favorites that he does.
Yeah,
too.
it's really, really good. And Apis in general, like I'm not usually a huge mead person, but like his are awesome. For the most part. I haven't had a ton of them, but I really like. I was just chatting with him yesterday. Actually, dude just knows flavor really well. He's always been a really good, really good palate.
Totally.
Yeah. What do you got, Meg?
So as I was telling the guys earlier, I was out at Stick City earlier today, and I picked up a 4-pack of their Session IPA, which more so comes across like a more sessionable hazy pale ale. So I like it. Really beautiful aroma and super drinkable too, which I'm like, I have a hard time. I don't want to dislike hazies at all, or even just like drinking IPAs anymore. But like my go-to is I'm going to have a few. So I need something lower gravity. This is like 4.9% and it's hitting the spot.
I like it.
And it's called Synchro. If that's
Synchro. Synchronicity.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, bro.
I have a little beersy that our lovely friend Buzzy from Epicast gave me this afternoon. It is from Woolly Pig Farm Brewery in beautiful Fresno, Ohio. It is their Zwickel beer, Keller Pills. And first of all, it has like the really old school bottle, which I just am always kind of a sucker for these.
Very banquet-esque. I love those too.
Yes, it's like an elongated 500 ml, like it's a half-liter banquet bottle. I mean, honestly,
legit sometimes though, I'll like always think of a pre-pro like when I see those bottles.
For sure. Yeah, very few people do them anymore, but they are just they're just sweet. And I appreciate. I mean, I know what they were kind of trying to replicate was like the Augustiner half liters that you get in Germany. They're not the exact same shape because they probably can't get those here, but like these are really cool. I like that bottle a lot.
I honestly feel like I see those bottles more often with kombucha anymore.
Totally.
Oh yeah, that's true. You definitely see that shaped bottle with kombucha. I feel like pretty frequently, or ginger beer even.
Yeah, Bundaberg. Even though that sucks. But
it's not good.
Bundaberg sucks as ginger beer. Don't buy that one.
Dude, I listen, I bought a 12-pack of it because it was at, I don't know, like Costco or something. Honestly, probably 2 years ago, and I probably still have like 8 of them left. And every once in a while, I go like, oh, I'm going to open one of these. And I go, fuck this. It doesn't have any flavor. It sucks. This beer, though, on the other hand, is really fucking nice. It really hits on what like a Zwickel beer is, which it tastes like it's crisp, it's bright, it's floral, but it's a little bit just kind of a little bit more yeast expressive. It has, I feel like a Zwickel beer or a Keller beer, you have to have that little whiff of sulfur. I feel like that really kind of communicates that like super freshness and almost like immaturity of the beer in a good way. I mean, that's the whole idea of like what a Zwickel or Keller beer is, right? So it's really fucking good. It's really nice. It's super, super pale, like straw colored, nice, like kind of wildflower hop character. It's I'm digging it.
I was gonna mention too, you might appreciate this. Nick gave me a sample out of the Bright of his next like Pilsner, but basically like where it's at now is like more of like a Keller beer, and it has like primarily like sauce hops in it, and it was like chef's kiss, like beautiful, like naturally carbonated. I was just like, no, you could like stop it here
Yeah.
And I'll like fuck this up for the whole night. You know what I mean? Like,
spun that bitch up.
Yeah.
Let's party. Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. And I'm like, dude,
that's what I want to drink in the summertime. I mean, that's like, that is the summer beer for me.
Yeah.
Are they doing stuff through the side pour still? I know that was like, they were kind of one of the early adopters.
Side pours, yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
And he said, down there. Yeah. So if any brewers are out there, he like made a point to tell me he has like 12 extra because of the way he had to order through Lucre. So if you know anyone who needs some side pours.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he's got
actually might take him up on that. So cool. Yes, I would like to do that very much because they are expensive. And if we don't have to order a whole bunch of them, I may utilize a few.
If you don't have to wait for international shipping.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the nice thing about that is that there are like people in America now that like always usually have them because they're using them. Like I know Modern Draft out of Massachusetts, they're like a big supply. Like they always have them too. So
oh, okay. I do. That's good to know. Bad news. Instagram not cooperating. When I bring up the old thing to see where our votes were at, it just says fuck you, try again later, basically. So we'll come back to it. You know what? We'll try at the end of the episode. We'll see if Instagram gets their shit together. So we will hold you in suspense for a little bit longer about what our May episode topic is going to be for our showdown in May. But for those of you who don't know what the hell I'm talking about, we do an episode every single week. Once a month, first Monday of the month is our showdown episode where we pick 3 topics from our spinny wheel that is full of potential topics that were suggested from our listeners and social media friends. And then we pick 3 at random, and then we put it out on the social medias for all of our friends and listeners and social media followers to help us vote on. So you select it. Once we know what it is, we usually announce in this episode. And then the next episode, we will talk about which movies we picked that pertain to that topic. And then the showdown episode, we talk about those movies, argue about them, vote, and someone takes home the goddamn belt for the month. Sidebar,
I'm totes getting those 12 mini ones. So we will officially be able to have like monthly little baby belts.
Little baby belts.
Like,
yes.
So like when we go out,
baby
you can
belt
actually,
is my favorite type of cheese.
You'll be able to like wear. So like if you have like Brian, you and I both won 2, right? Steve, do you remember that?
2? I've won more than 2. I've won 2 in a row.
Yeah, we're only done 4 so far. So we've each won 2.
4? No, we haven't.
She's saying for the year, but
for the year, yeah, for the year.
You
Jesus
saucy.
Christ!
Listen,
but I don't. But the calendar year isn't the full year.
I know. I mean, but like from the beginning, from January. Jesus
I know.
Christ.
This isn't the NASCAR. This isn't the NASCAR Sprint Cup series. We don't do season points. This is
Brian,
all time.
All she's trying to do is engage in Steve erasure.
Yeah,
because I haven't won one in 2022. Yeah. Sure, fine.
Yes,
right.
That's actually my point that I wanted to make.
That doesn't really help you when I do win, though.
They do also just sell them in 12 packs, so we just got to go on like. So I guess May, I'll get them for the May. May will be our official number 1 for the next season. Technically, right?
Listen, we're gonna have to go into negotiations on this. Is this gonna be like when the baseball like owners and players organizations come together? We're gonna have to negotiate about when the season situation starts because I
just said it would be fine if it started in January.
I'm sure you would be fine if it started in January.
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. You can tell me it starts in May. You guys are just like playing games with my heart right now. I don't like it.
Anything you said I would have argued with.
I know.
You're trying to start it in May, but why not just start it in June? Because that's when the 1-year anniversary will be.
That's
true. I
thought
May was. That's why I was saying.
June was our first. June like 6th or something was our first episode last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I don't do anniversaries ever with anything in my life, so I'll be the person that forgets it.
Listen, all I'm saying is I think at this point, your boy, if we do it that way, your boy has statistically wrapped up the point lead title for year number 1, if I'm not mistaken.
We can go back and check the tally, bro. Like, we can go back, okay?
That's all I'm saying is I'm taking it home. Anyway.
Wait, do you like want like an extra prize or something? Like,
well, no, then
I want
he just gets the big
some
belt.
recognition. Yeah.
Yo, you get to keep the bigger belt.
I just
made
want
out
to,
of
like,
yoga mats.
Yeah, I want to sit on a platform of some sort and have you guys carry me somewhere. That's what I want. Like a Caesar Augustus style.
You want
like,
almost like we'll be your pallbearers or something like that. Like,
I mean, I'd prefer to not be deceased. I would more rather be in like a Caesar Augustus type situation.
Yeah, but it would be a coffin, so we would just be your like pallbearers.
I guess,
we would be the one carrying you.
Kinda.
Yeah.
It'll be the WrestleMania 9 entrance where you carry the Undertaker out and he's got the big vulture on the stick.
Yeah, or the Macho, or I'll go Macho Man's situation where he was what was his name briefly? He had a different name. Why does it escape me right now?
Macho King.
Macho King. Yeah, he's a Macho King. I'll go full Macho King too. That might work, and we'll get him a little. I don't know who's going to be Miss Elizabeth, but we'll figure it out.
He would have totally had Burger King as his sponsor at that point. What?
Rises to the top. All right. But if you want to help us vote on all of this nonsense and pick the topics that we beat each other up about, follow us on the social medias. If you just type in Halloween is Forever in Twitter or Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, it'll come up. It's a little little digital pumpkin guy there, like a little 8-bit pumpkin. Check it out. It's cool. Or you can email us at halloweenisforeverpod@gmail.com if you just kind of feel like doing it that way for whatever reason. All right, let's get into this piece of shit movie. Usually what I do is I watch the movie and I try to like not know a bunch about it and then do all my, write notes, do all this thing, like kind of formulate my initial thought on the overall movie. And then I go back and do a little bit of research on it, like look into the director. If I'm not that familiar with it, look into some of the actors and stuff. I literally didn't even bother to do those other things. Like, I don't even know who directed this piece of shit. Mm-hmm. I would just really appreciate if they never directed another movie ever again. This movie, despite the fact that it's a Tubi original, I'm not mad at Tubi. I don't blame Tubi. Right. Tubi, that's like getting mad at his...
They made a point to say it was an original. I'm going to fight the system right now because I don't have actually a mic holder right now, so I get to hold my mic myself.
I know. You are like cutting a promo so hard right now.
Yeah, like they put their stamp on it. They're like, we like this. Yeah. You know what? I want to hear your genuine, I want to hear your critique of Tubi right now.
No,
are you going to kiss their ass? Or
getting
are you going to speak the truth?
Tubi for making a bad movie is like getting mad at a zebra for having stripes, Meg.
You can't. Bullshit.
You can't. This movie, Tubi is, what I love about Tubi is it is the cesspool of streaming services. So this is the exact type they would make.
Yeah, we have to consider how much money did Tubi actually put into the production, or did they just buy the rights to show it first? Because who really made this movie is the notorious The Asylum. Famous for, well, rather more infamous for everything else, like Boa versus Mega Snake or whatever the fuck, the Sharknadoes, and
sci-fi horror.
So I think
Sci-Fi Channel.
I feel like maybe so if we're looking at it that way, again, I'll back down from my attack here and just talk about they just want the cult classics, the ones that people are going to always talk about for being so bad that you watch them.
Well, they're doing the Shudder model, from what I understand, which is they say it's a Shudder original because it's the first place that it's streaming on.
Sure.
Some of those movies were kind of made, I think, in connection with Shudder in some capacity, but a lot of them, like when was Fried Berry a Shudder original? There's a bunch of different ones that were Shudder originals that weren't actually like produced in any way by Shudder. It was just like Steve said, they bought the rights to basically stream them first for a period of time, and then they go out into the environment.
What I feel like, here's though what I think is like sneaky about that is that like something like I know Netflix puts a lot of money into like some of the movies that they put out as like Netflix originals, like that became their platform.
Netflix is now the largest movie production company in the world, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're like very huge for it. Whereas I feel like there is going to be this misperception in the consumer's mind is like when they see something like a Shudder original or a Tubi original, they're gonna think it might be of that quality. Because I think as much as there's not all Netflix movies are great, but I think I've enjoyed quite a few. You know what I mean? So I think it's tricky. They're fucking playing games with my heart. Again, going Backstreet Boys on this,
Meg
guys.
is again cutting a full promo. You guys can't see her, but she is pointing at us, spitting. She's just raging, and
I'm asking Bruce to hold me back right now.
She's holding the mic like the lead singer of Prodigy too. You guys can't see that, but
the thing is, like, this isn't new. Like, Troma has been doing this forever.
Yeah, Hallmark has been doing this forever.
Yeah. Yeah,
wait, are we talking
Sci-Fi
specifically
Channel.
about putting out shitty movies, or specifically talking about
both.
having movies made and then just claiming them to be put there?
No. They are making these shitty movies, like Hallmark, for example. Sci-Fi
totally.
Channel, like a Sci-Fi Channel, definitely with some of these Asylum movies and other movies of that ilk. Like Sci-Fi Channel claimed these movies. They were called Sci-Fi Originals.
Sure.
Back in the day before all these streaming services where at 3 a.m. you would watch, the 2004 equivalent of fucking Sharknado or whatever, which I don't remember when that came out, but you get the gist there. But listen, it's questionable, but I would expect that from Tubi. Tubi's the
Brian's
fucking
drinking the Kool-Aid for sure.
Yeah, Tubi's the like I said, it's like getting mad at a you put your finger in the water and you get mad because shark jumps up and bites your hand off. He's a goddamn shark.
Yeah,
that's what he does. It's in his nature. This is Tubi's nature.
Let's not forget, not maybe a month and a half ago, you proclaiming your love and like dedication to Tubi.
Still
and
there,
you're like
intact, 100% intact.
Yeah, you're just now defending them at this point.
Yeah, it's first of all, it's blasphemous, the things that you're saying, and I am infuriated beyond belief by them. Tubi is there's no guardrails. That's what I love about Tubi. Yeah. There's no guardrails. Yeah. You go on Tubi, and I have found some fucking incredible bullshit that I loved on Tubi that I knew nothing about. Yeah, Blood Fart Lake. That was fucking insanely funny. I had a blast with Blood Fart Lake. You could stumble on something like Thanksgiving. You could stumble on Microwave Massacre. You could stumble on so much good shit. Like, there's actually good movies on there, too. But then, for every movie like that, there's also, the Clowning 5 or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, the dumbest, most horseshit stuff ever. And you run that risk. And the risk is part of the thrill. It's part of the experience. It's like going into the shitty, grimy, smoky, sticky video store and picking something out just based on the cover. So that's all I'm saying, guys. I rest my case. I think
it's fair to say that we were all tricked by the Asylum. We were tricked. We thought this movie might have been something else, but it's literally just exploitative dog shit that's not even like good.
No, not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. Like I would say they front load probably the first 15 minutes to get you to the point to where you're not going to turn it off. And then the rest of the movie is fucking boring.
I only
ass
didn't
trash
turn it
filler.
off. Yeah. I only didn't turn it off because I knew I had to talk about it.
Well, I mean, most of
it. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, if it wasn't for this, we probably all would have shut it off.
Not me. I probably would have watched at the end because I am a
you do like shit movies
crazy
a lot.
person.
Yeah.
I watched Clownado to completion.
That actually sounds more
and when I
interesting
say that,
than
I mean it in
Titanic
two
666.
very different ways. What's that?
I almost wish they would have just recreated the Titanic with Leo and Kate Winslet. But with like spookiness to it. Like I want the paint me like a French whore type fucking scene. I want that. But I want it to be like,
I love that I
he
messed
uses
it up.
her
It's supposed
blood.
to be draw me like one of your French girls. I said paint me like one of your French girls, and Meg said paint me like one of your whores.
But with blood.
Yeah, but with blood. Yeah, I know. Listen, they could have done that better.
Her blood,
but
too.
but this is the thing. If you look, this is starring almost exclusively people whose their biggest credits are like Hallmark Christmas movies and shit. I mean, there's a couple other notable people, but that's about it. So yeah, this movie was done for $30,000 or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's surprising because like even in the credits, they say this is shot on like the Red weapon cameras, which are like $50,000 a piece, and I'm like,
really?
Holy shit, are you renting those? Because everything else looks like garbage.
Yeah, I think probably
Tubi let them borrow them, but they had to give them back.
That was Tubi's contribution.
Yeah, that was Tubi's contribution.
I do feel like this is one of those movies that got shot in, like they were shooting a Hallmark Christmas movie, and they were just like, all right, guys, you have 3 days to use this equipment because we have to shut down for 3 days because of whatever reason. Film this movie real quick. Like, it really does feel like that.
You're saying
you have the local YMCA pool and that's it. Get it done.
You're saying we should keep our eyes peeled for like Hallmark to see if they have a boat movie coming out, like not necessarily Titanic. But
it's gonna literally be called like A Boat for Christmas, or like Captain Christmas, the boat guy of Christmas.
It'll come out this summer, guys. Like
Santa boat.
The Christmas cruise.
colon Christmas boat.
The Christmas miracle on the 34th parallel.
You gave them way too much credit. You
gotta TM that right now, bro, because they're gonna take that. Like, they're gonna take that.
No, somebody in the room suggests something like that. They go, "Shut up, Steve. It's called Christmas boat." You come up with anything even remotely clever, they go, "That's too many words. It should be called Santa Boat at Christmas." Yeah. Like, Kate and I have a whole list, like a running list of like dozens of potential Hallmark Christmas movie names.
Nice.
And the best one, it has never gotten better. Like, I came up with some good ones I thought were funny. I remember like Country Christmas. Down Home Country Christmas 2, A Big City Christmas. And like, but then Kate has the best one ever. I honestly got almost puked. I was laughing so hard. It's A Christmas in December.
I still am going to stand by that you guys need to have a dating app or dating podcast. Like, literally, I would fucking die laughing listening to that.
She fucking cracks me up. We have so many good ones. We'll wait till Christmas time. We'll go to that. But in any case, this one feels like an old sci-fi horror movie, right? But listen, so we're not going to go through plot by plot, but I do want to call out some of the dumber parts in the movies and I'm sure you guys have some too, because I was just like barely paying attention. It was so fucking boring. Listen, this is in a summary. What happens here? There's a fucking boat. It's called the Titanic 3. Is this a Thanksgiving situation? Did they just go from 1 to 3?
No, because there is a Titanic cinematic universe because the Asylum has already produced a Titanic 2 movie. Yeah.
What
it's a horror
then,
right? I mean,
was it just called a Titanic 2, or like did it have like a Titanic 666
Titanic 2 Electric Boogaloo?
It was just called Titanic 2, and I think it was made because there was some sort of attempt in Australia to build a Titanic 2 for real. So I think
that's ill-advised.
Yeah, I think the Asylum got word of that.
This movie told us so.
We're gonna fucking make a movie.
Yeah, let's build the Hindenburg 2. Like, that's a fucking great idea. Yeah, the whole fucking idea is they build the Titanic 3. There's some greedy dickhead professor on board who has salvaged a bunch of valuables from the original Titanic wreck
Who
site.
isn't a dickhead on this boat?
They're all dickheads.
They're all literally dickheads.
The captain, and that's about it.
Yeah, the captain, she's, I guess, not a dickhead, but she is the worst captain ever, and she's definitely not a real captain. She lied on her resume.
Yeah, not at all.
But they get these valuables, and the whole thing is kind of like a scheme to sell artifacts from the Titanic to super wealthy people. Like, that's the whole thing. And the great granddaughter of the original captain of the Titanic comes back, does like a seance thing because they're profiting off of their death, and it's like an Egyptian mummy curse situation, basically. And they come back and they just scream at people until they die. That's the fucking movie. That's it. That's the whole thing.
And we're done. The show's over.
Yeah, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
The hilarious part of like how stupid this plot is, of like they go through all this trouble of building a ship and then luring rich people on the ship to sell them parts from the original ship. Like in 2022, all you would do is sell NFTs of fucking photos of shit that like of the wreckage.
You would also sell like even just like a virtual reality version of this trip.
No,
you would
guys,
never
this is
ever
fantasy
step foot
camp for a
on
Titanic
fucking ship ever. People don't leave their house anymore. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm literally laying on my bed right now.
You are, but you are still cutting that promo hard. I appreciate it. Meg is, it's like she's doing like calisthenics with her arms, and she's rolling around. It's
I'm getting comfy over here, motherfuckers.
Yeah. She's like down the Chris Jericho or Eddie Guerrero promo, where she's just like lazily calling out her opponent, like she doesn't respect her opponent anymore.
No respect.
She right now it's a cross between Y2J and the that film of David Hasselhoff laying on his floor eating that cheeseburger.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much. Yes, exactly. You guys both made the list, so fuck you.
So anyway, here one of the first things I noticed that I kind of like chuckled at was they do this entire not huge, but they definitely put the CGI budget, which again, it's not good, but they put the most work into the whole like kind of shove off scene, which is like when they're departing, they have like make it look like there's like hundreds of people on board the ship. And it doesn't look unbelievably bad, but it doesn't look good. But compared to the rest of the CGI, it's not terrible. But then the whole rest of the movie, there's only like 6 people on board.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys, because speaking of the CGI, I just felt like majority of this entire film was just based on a CGI budget completely.
Yeah. And it was done by like a 15-year-old. Like the ghost effects are fucking terrible. They're literally something anybody could do. Like you could find an After Effects tutorial and do it yourself. Yeah. And it would look just as good. Like there's so many mistakes in the fucking like CGI. I'm watching it. I'm like, how the fuck do you just miss that? Like,
or they just don't care. It's like they had 20 minutes. Honestly, I said multiple times to myself, I guarantee you Steve could do a better job than this in an afternoon. The one you called out where it's like towards like the end where it's supposed to be like one of the more climactic kills, the one ghost woman, which we're not even going to get into all the characters probably because it's so fucking pointless.
I think it's only important to point her out because she's the big star of the film.
I guess
she's like
is.
On the front cover.
Right.
Yeah, she's in it for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes maybe.
It's poet laureate Annalynn McCord, who maybe you heard or saw or not. She was the one who put out that poem to Putin of if I were your mother, maybe this wouldn't be happening back when there was the original invasion. Which it's interesting how that's maybe now the second worst thing she's done this year.
Yeah, really. Yeah. She wrote an open letter to Vladimir Putin, basically, in poem form, and it was the most cringy, stupid thing in the world.
True influencer fashion. She just felt like she could actually change the world and she can go for herself.
Just delusions of grandeur, just to the umpteenth degree.
You have to wonder if she put that out knowing this movie was coming out because it's such exploitative garbage. That because the film is released on the anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic.
I didn't even realize that.
It's the anniversary of the sinking, and they start the film.
Awesome.
Yeah, they start the film with a reenactment, and then
it's so tasteless.
It's so tasteless, and then her first line of dialogue is like a meta line of dialogue of how. Yeah. It's all exploitative for the creation of money.
Yeah,
and it's like that's what you're doing though. You're doing that right
you
now.
Would consider just like all this
in real
meta
life.
Because like literally, it's just I want to not believe that life is like that, but I feel like life is like that for a lot of people who like consider themselves influencers, and it like just that type of shit breaks my brain, where I'm like trying to live in reality as much as possible, and then I see that shit and I'm like, is there a lot? Is that what influencing is like? Where they just literally live in a non-reality reality for themselves?
Like, you're just a character in your own. You're just a character in your own movie, kind of thing. So it actually is pretty meta. This movie might rule. Anyway,
it doesn't rule, but it is hella meta because it's you have all that set up, and then like the plot line, like you said, is about rich people trying to profit off the sinking of the Titanic. And that's literally what this movie is. It's trying to profit off the sinking of the Titanic. But there's no ghost curse to fucking right the wrongs.
I like to think
can we create a ghost curse right now? Can we do it right now? Can we like?
I don't have those powers.
Can we just like do? Can we go?
Your ass better call somebody.
Is it just like a drinking game? Well, the ghost curse will be called a drinking game. That's what it is. And we just drink every time they say something dumb.
The ghost curse
and
is
I'm
alcoholism.
Wasted now because of that. Yeah, because of alcoholism, and that is the most real life thing we could deal with.
But it's also genetics. The ghost curse is genetic alcoholism.
The ghost curse is being
relative.
Irish.
The ghost curse is our Irish.
We didn't know
blood.
what the Captain Edward's last name was, so hey.
Yeah, Smith.
It's Smith. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, that's
He's
British.
Like, no. I was gonna say he could still be drunk.
Yeah, he could be. I'm pretty sure alcoholism has escaped the borders
of Ireland. He drinks a lot of porter beer.
I mean, it started there, obviously. It originated in Ireland.
Oh, no, it escaped.
Oh, no, alcoholism escaped the Emerald Isle. We're all of a sudden super anti-Irish. I think
this show is so belligerent right now, guys.
Recently referred to somebody as a filthy, illiterate Irish locust, which is my wife. And I'm also half Scotch-Irish. In any case, guys,
the show is like literally very belligerent, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah. We're just all so mad that we watched this movie.
So fucking bad.
And
there's
a couple of really funny lines I did write down though. At one point when I think it's like what she was clearly supposed to look a little bit like Rose, like Kate Winslet's character, the stowaway great granddaughter who eventually takes like her great grandfather's like spirit into her body or something. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure she had his ashes too. Like she had an urn, dude.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. There was a whole ritual involved. I'm pretty sure it was in the scene where she accuses him of the professor of doing something, and he's like, no. He just says it in such a dumb
and then
way.
Like the way they did some of the scenes, like the cinematography for it, it's like, okay, he clearly is wearing a ring that she like is looking at, but there's like no context until like obviously we find out like 10 minutes later.
Right. Yeah.
And
so I feel like there was excessive shots like that.
Yeah, and there's a scene where, like you just said, Meg, there's a scene where he explains the significance of the ring, but like, and it's with a character we've never seen before. They just cut in with it. Yeah. Like, so it was just kind of edited out of space. Like, why not just throw that at the beginning so we know why she's upset?
They tried to do it like it was this kind of foreshadowing thing, but it's just really clunky.
But it happened
writing.
after the fact. It happened after.
Right. Yeah, it's all this is all clunky and stupid.
The only person I recognized, at least initially from this movie, was the guy who played the like head of security. Which was his name Brian?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
the bald one or the
bald one?
The bald one.
Oh yeah,
his name's Joseph Gatt, and he plays a lot of like supernatural and like creature type of people because he's huge and like jacked, and he's bald, and he has a particularly unique look because I think he has like some form of alopecia or something like that. Okay. Whereas he doesn't have any. He has no eyebrows, no hair in his head. You know, I think he just. It's some sort of medical condition that he has. I believe.
You know who he reminded me of though? You guys see Silicon Valley?
I've seen a few episodes.
Yeah.
You know, like the head of Hooli.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
he kind of looks like him, but like bald and bigger, and
like
jacked.
big and jacked.
Yeah, I was like trying to. He also had some of my least favorite acting in this movie, though.
He's very bad. I mean, and that's hard to say because there are some really terrifically bad performances.
I had to describe this as the acting in this movie reminded me of like children's shows like where there were some that were either overacting or underacting, but it was just always like so dramatic, and you're just like, whoa. If you said that to me in real life, I'd be like, you okay?
Yeah, the dialogue doesn't
right?
feel even remotely real. And I think what happened is, like, you can tell there was definitely some scenes where they were just like, here's the gist, improvise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have time to learn lines, but then the actors didn't have the chops to be able to do that.
You know what would have been a better name for this movie is CSI Titanic.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally probably a more accurate thing for this movie.
To your point, Brian, there is probably the funniest line in the whole movie.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Is when the boat is headed towards another iceberg, because why wouldn't it be? And they have no control over the system, and it's like the second in command.
I wrote it down.
Oh God.
She goes to improv a line, and she says, "I can't control the controls."
I literally wrote down in all caps, I can't control the controls. And earlier, the captain goes, override the override.
Yeah, it's so...
Now, that was, I think, a written line, but the one you're talking about, she does it. She goes, and then she corrects herself, and they left it in. She's like, I can't control the controls. I can't control the Titanic.
Like, so bad. I actually wrote that down too.
Her second choice of improv was still shit.
Yeah, she was lost. Oh, I love that. I wrote those two down. That was probably the line of the movie. There were some other really good ones.
Do you think this was just an improv experiment in that this like that's what I think was funding it? Was an improv? Yeah,
perhaps. I'm not sure. I did also really appreciate at one point the professor, which I'm just going to call him professor and captain and all that shit, like it's fucking Game of Clue. But they like there's one point where the professor was getting like straight up horny for shipwrecks. Yeah. Like when he was showing the wedding ring, like he seemed like he was getting sexually aroused by the idea of the ring on his finger and stuff. He was
This belonged to a dead man, and now I'm wearing it, and now it's mine.
Yeah, that turned him on. Like, yes,
he
for
probably,
sure.
Do you think he uses it as a cock ring too?
That would be, if it's the same size as your finger, you've got. I mean, could be. Listen, I'm not shaming anybody. It might be.
Dick shame someone.
I'm not.
The way like Oliver Platt's character was horny for crocodiles, and like you see that in other movies. He was just horny for ocean garbage.
Imagine him just like laying in that big like floating plastic island in the Pacific and just like, oh fuck yeah, like that's
fuck
that's like,
microplastics.
Oh, I'm gonna shoot.
Dude,
sorry.
You guys want to actually hear? I did read a note. You're talking about that dude, the historian getting horny. I was just like, I literally wrote a note saying he was about to blow his fucking load just talking about
he was.
like
it
the
was
original
really
art. Like that literally is what I felt like. He was just like, if this wasn't a porno, like it could have been. I bet you, actually, let me hypothesize that this actually was started and they initially wanted it to be a porno, but they're like, guys, we can't have the budget for that.
Yeah.
They didn't have the budget for the penises.
Well,
And
they only had the budget for, like, they honest to God sat in a room, I have no doubt in my mind, and said, what's the cheapest kills we can do? Which were, most of them were a CGI ghost screaming and someone dropping dead. Yeah. Like that is, there was 2 kills that even had like any amount of like gore to them, and one was the old woman with the necklace that
I was gonna say she was my favorite kill probably.
Yeah, and honestly, it was the best kill, and it was still absolute dog shit because it was just her, like the necklace kind of tightening around her neck, but not really, and then CGI blood, and fuck you, you know.
Yeah.
At least there at one point there was the guy with the accent that is like arguing with Brian when the security guy when he's in the hall. I don't even know where he came from. He sounded like he had some sort of like West African accent.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking
he
about?
was just like another security guard.
That's what I'm saying.
That one wasn't really that good either. The one that stood out to me.
No, but he tried to act it.
Oh yeah,
like
he
he's on
tried
the ground.
to
He was like, you know.
No, the one that stood out to me, which was the only one that like any kind of extra budget to it. They had money for a decapitation via CGI because they had.
That's true. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, it was like, and it was just so random because it was just an engineer in the engine room.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he gets decapitated by like a steam pipe shooting a valve.
Yeah,
and like
I do like when they came down though and were like, "Oh, muffins!" Like when they found him, they were just like not really like it was just not that big of a deal.
I almost thought she asked him to like throw him overboard too.
Right.
Yeah, the captain was just like, bloodthirsty in a way. Like she was just comes down, decapitated crew member. She's like, shit. Like it was like someone spilled milk.
Well, he was hourly, so fuck him.
Yeah,
I don't know
really,
if it would have actually helped this movie, but I feel like in ways it might have. Is that if you added a half hour to this movie to develop characters a little better, maybe.
Because that would have made it longer.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, like, there was no emotional attachment to anyone.
Nah.
And,
right.
like, the CGI sucked, but, like, what could have made you care about the characters besides maybe developing a little bit?
I guess that's
I'm just
the only
hypothesizing,
option.
guys.
But
like,
that's
I'm not
like
saying that's what I want.
It's like if you spill, like, a bowl of cereal on the ground and you're like, can we make this edible again? I guess we could scrape it all up like in a dustpan and put it back in the bowl, but it's still gonna have a bunch of dog hair and shit in it, you know.
The couple ways you fix some of these problems, Meg, is one, the couple we're introduced to at the beginning with Annalynn McCord and whoever's playing her husband. I mean,
he's a fucking Hallmark Christmas dude.
Don't kill them first.
Has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you don't do is you make the audience spend 15 to 20 minutes with them and then kill them off. And then try to make the audience like the professor at the end.
Yeah, that was so... I did not see that. I thought the professor was going to eat shit in the climactic scene.
Right.
Like, he was almost the big bad.
Yeah.
You know, in a way.
I almost
but then
thought
they
like
tried to redeem him.
That influencer couple, I felt like there could have been a story where they focus so much on them, it did not make sense for them to die first, because I feel like because there was so much focus on them, everything else just like felt like boring and loose or like light, because you're like, I have no clue who anyone else is besides them.
It's a freaking that's like classic sci-fi movie shit, sci-fi channel movie shit. Like, you don't care about anyone, and also everyone kind of looks the same because they're all like very good looking, but generically good looking, like wannabe Hollywood actors who are just taking absolute bullshit and hoping nobody sees it. But they're not necessarily talented, but they are good looking enough to be in a movie. Like, that's honestly like what Hallmark movies are. But now they've gotten better.
To be attracted to, because
that's the thing. It's like there's almost never somebody in these movies that I actually go like, oh, that person's genuinely attractive, because they're all so generic. It's like if an AI had to draw an attractive person. You know what I mean? Like, they're almost uncanny valley in a weird way.
Do you think this was actually an AI movie? Do you think those people were real?
The script might have been written by an AI. Yeah. But this just came to me. This is what this movie reminds me of. It is a cross between one of like an ad for like a local, like a TV or internet spot for a local haunted attraction.
Oh yeah.
And mashed up with like one of those stupid like YouTube jump scare videos.
Yeah.
Like that is pretty much the inspiration for this movie, I feel like.
Yeah, I think you could like start it off, and I mean it makes sense that it would be an ad campaign because like she says amazeballs in 2022.
Oh God, yes,
I can only imagine most ad copywriters are 30 years behind.
I'm mildly offended because I think I've definitely like said amazeballs, so I'm a little bit offended right now.
I was waiting for her to be like, this boat's all that in a bag of chips. It's just like, after she said amazeballs, I was like, what? But maybe my favorite part of the movie, which is unbelievably bad, but it was the only part I rewound, was the the male person from the influencer couple, when he gets grabbed, it looks like a Instagram story animation.
There's a filter.
Smoke. Yeah, there's smoke, and then these little dumb animated hands come out of the smoke and pull him in, but they're so cartoonish and stupid. It was just unbelievably bad. As soon as that happened, I was like, all right, I already had a pretty good idea what we were in for, but that confirmed it.
Yeah.
Can I safely say this movie had 5 out of 5 poops?
Yeah, it was a big old shit sandwich. Yeah.
Something that's interesting, and I don't know, I guess it's kind of expected that they would crash the Titanic again and sink it again. But if this was a better movie or a movie with taste, they wouldn't. The whole thing would be to redeem the Titanic and not crash it again.
Yeah.
And try to find the grandfather ghosts captain some peace. If this movie had any taste, or
do a haunting type situation.
What if they
save it at the last moment?
I was gonna say, what if it was more so you could have had a good outcome and had that where they were redeemed after killing everyone, and basically the ship going to its destination but with no one on it. Or we could have had a sequel preview, and people show up and they're like, oh my god, no one's on this, but all the ghosts are back on the ship.
And in Ghostbusters 2 when the Titanic arrives.
Sure. Yeah.
I would you know what I would like, and I was really rooting for it, and I knew it was a long shot, but I was holding out hope till the end, was that all the icebergs were ghosts.
That'd been nice. That'd been sweet.
They just come to life.
Yeah. They're all fully self-aware icebergs.
And this is really just a climate fucking
it's a climate change movie.
Yeah, it's a whole climate change story. Yeah. And then Al Gore comes out and goes, "We told you so." And then he turns into Man Bear Pig and rips everywhere.
If this was actually a real thing, though, those icebergs would not be existing at all. There'd be no icebergs there.
Right.
So,
well, it depends on when they set sail, but yeah.
They did the scene with the clunkiest dialogue. I had to just call this out because it was they gave them no direction and no lines. You could tell was when they were trying to go back and watch the video of when the male influencer guy gets killed. The cell phone footage, basically, of his wife.
Yeah.
And they're sitting in the control room. They're all looking over each other's shoulders. And he's like, did he just disappear? And then she's like, rewind that. Rewind it back. Go back. What happened? It was just so fucking bad.
It's so fucking bad. And they do that scene twice. Because they have this scene where the captain and the security guard look through it and they go, oh, it must have been the professor. But then there's another cosplayer on the boat and she gets a look at it later in the film. She's like, no, it's a ghost. And they're like, shut up. There's no fucking ghosts, idiot.
Shut up,
woman.
Yeah.
She was probably the most genuine character on the ship.
She was the best. She might have been the best actor.
She probably was.
I was gonna say I hated her the least.
Yeah, I hated her the least. But they're definitely like, shut up and get back to the buffet, cosplayer.
I love how the whole scene. Maybe my favorite scene in the movie, honestly, was the whole scene with Brian, the head of security, and the captain down in the boiler room. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, Brian knows a ton about boilers. And also, there's a laptop computer in the boiler room open on a table that is controlling the boat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes down. She's like, I gotta fix the boat. He's like, it's gonna blow. The boiler can't take this much pressure. I'm like, aren't you the head of security? How the fuck do you know the boiler's not working properly? And then she's like, yeah, there's just a laptop that controls the ship's engine on a table. Wouldn't that be up in the control room?
I mean,
what the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, with him having so much work with the historian, he's a wild card.
Yeah.
He knows everything about the boat. He knows everything about this engine. He literally is the puppet master of all this. And honestly, I think he should be to blame for this curse instead of the historian. I'm actually going to go bold there.
Yeah,
you know what? I'm gonna go bold and say that.
Well, they did a little role reverse when they thought they were being cute, where you thought Brian was kind of like, yes, he was guilty by association, but maybe he got pulled along for the ride, and the professor was the real badass dickhead, and then they kind of swapped near the end. But before we move on too far, I do want to ask, like, Nancy, who's the woman we said we don't hate as much, when like. Why would the head of security, like the head of security is doing a bad job if just a random like guest can just walk into the control room of the boat, like just walk in and be like, guys, got a problem.
Yeah. Well, Nancy's already proven that she has the ability to just show up places because if you remember in the beginning when Not Rose is doing her incantation spell
Not Rose.
in whatever warehouse they shot that in, the influencer couple is filming her, and then Nancy just shows up.
I think Nancy's actually a ghost. I'm gonna go bold here.
Okay,
I think Nancy's a ghost.
I'm on board with this theory.
Yeah, Nancy's a ghost.
Yeah.
But I also would like on my other hypothesis for it would be that she is just one of the nice friends that like she's so disarming that you would never suspect her or feel like, why are you here? Because she has no like other motive besides just wanting to be wanted by people. So she's either a ghost or she wants to be wanted, and I feel for her.
Yeah, I mean that is that's more character development than any character in this entire script.
Yeah, no, I think we're doing the work right now. We're doing the Lord's work right now.
We're rewriting this script. Another great line I have written down here. She's been hanging around my treasure.
Her treasure is her pussy.
He just calls it his
It's my professor's treasure.
My professor. Get that treasure. Come get this treasure.
Get this treasure.
Again, this could definitely have been a porno at one point.
Oh, hey, did you guys know this? And again, I didn't care enough to look it up. But the only other person in this movie that I recognized was the security guy who, after the professor runs off, they're walking up that long hallway. And then it was the black security guy. He was like, he had
a good death too.
Yeah,
but I didn't recognize him.
He's been in stuff, and I didn't take a moment to look up, but I know I recognize him.
No, I didn't recognize him. No,
I don't know what he's in, but I definitely recognize that guy. I also liked when the Captain Dickweed or whatever, the ghost, shows up before he gets to use his Arctic breath power. He shows up, and then Brian pulls out the gun, and Not Rose goes, "What are you gonna do? Shoot a ghost?"
And then he does.
And it ricochets and hits the other guy.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a Navy SEAL. He fires one round and hits the wrong person, literally the first one.
He shoots the ghost and it ricochets, which is not how ghosts work. It should just go through them, but
no, I think it ricocheted off the wall. Yeah.
Oh, did it go off the wall
behind him?
Right.
But it still is unbelievably
I felt like it just ricocheted off. Like he used
off the ghost.
Yeah, that's how
it might have been. That's even better.
Yeah, that's how it read to me, but I could be wrong.
Buff as fuck, man.
Yeah,
used his magic ice powers.
And then
he's
eventually
actually an icicle.
So why does if Ghost Dickweed Captain guy has like Arctic breath power, then why when he goes into Rose's body does he just start force choking everyone?
I don't know, because they didn't have a budget. I think it's funny. You know, it's funny to me
that for everything.
It's funny to me that you're calling him like Ghost Dickweed Captain, but like there was literally a captain of the Titanic, and that's who that's supposed to be. So like they're turning the literal captain of the Titanic into a villain.
Right.
Oh, is he the is that the name of the real captain?
Yeah, it's the real captain.
Supposed to be, yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, that is beyond tasteless.
He's the guy he's on like the Ring too. So he was married. He had a wife. He probably had a family.
Right.
And they're all dead now, Brian. Okay.
Oh my god. Listen, I didn't make this movie. I just watched it and loved it.
This is coming out after Easter too, so man, this is a very emotional week. You know, to deal with the Lord dying and the Titanic dying.
We had zombie Jesus, and we had
This actually reminded me of fucking the zombie Nazi movie a lot too. Like just the characters kind of the one we just
Dead Snow.
The one we did. Okay.
Like it just reminded me of the characters in ways. You know what I mean? Not too deeply though. You know what I mean? Let's
I could see the imagery
level.
A little bit.
Yeah, surface level here.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't mention the nude jump scare of the nude. Like, I get it. That was the only thing this was missing, was just a random uncalled for nude scene.
Yeah.
And then we got it. And then we got it.
Which is also, again, funny because so they're on a Titanic. Was there showers in the Titanic? Is I guess what I'm asking.
Yeah, there has to be.
I would assume so, right?
There has to be.
I don't know.
I know
back
then people
this
didn't
was a
bathe
modern
as
ship.
frequently.
I mean, this was a modern ship. There's definitely showers on this one.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, how would the ghost know to use a shower and be nude instead of like whatever they might have had in 1912?
Well, because listen, if you're a ghost,
maybe it was Rose,
and
maybe
you
just
are
got
all
painted.
of a sudden thrust into this modern environment, you don't think you're going to partake in some of those modern luxuries? You don't think ghosts want to play Nintendo Switch? Because they do. Be empathetic, Steve. Put yourself in the ghost shoes.
They want to get down on that Kirby.
I'm going with Brian here.
I have my notes read like this. Other ghost shit happens. This is awful. Like that's literally what my notes say. I can't control the controls. I mean, that was
control the controls is awesome.
Yeah. And then eventually Rose basically puts the boat on a collision course with an iceberg and then slits her own throat. Yeah. And then I wrote iceberg. Like that's literally what my notes says.
Which again,
these are pretty accurate though. Those are solid notes, dude.
Yeah, it's all there. But it's like again, the real captain of the Titanic made his own granddaughter slit her own throat.
Yeah. No, never mind. The influencer woman's ghost is the one who made Brian shoot himself.
But he does all that in service to recreating his greatest failure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. The motivation is very questionable.
So this is a movie about shame and failure, and how when you have a chance to redo it, you should do it the exact same way and have the same shame and failure.
Just relive your shame over and over again. Never let go of it.
That is purgatory and what we put ourselves through all the time. That's
this
so
is
metaphorical, dude. Oh my
actually,
God. This is on point.
This is pretty apropos for this is an Easter movie.
It is. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I was like saying.
Yeah. I do like, honestly, the only even remotely creepy still shot from this movie, which it wasn't scary at all, but it was just the only thing that was even remotely creepy, was the quick glance at Ghost Brian. He kind of looked cool in the ghost with the ghost CGI like that. But again, that's why he's in Game of Thrones and shit, is because he's good at looking creepy and intimidating.
Right.
But it's really genuinely otherwise terrible. And then he doesn't even attack anybody. He just makes a boat fall on a woman.
That was the stupidest scene in the movie. One of the stupidest.
It might have been. It might have been.
I hated it. I was just like, why is the boat in the fucking hall?
Why was there? I took that as that was one of the original boats from the Titanic, and it was on display.
Stop defending this at this point.
It's like when you go it's like when you go to Quaker Steak and Lube, and they have that race car up in the rafters.
Yeah, this is the fucking Bennigans of ship disasters. There's just shit all over the walls.
Yeah, a bunch of tchotchkes of dead people everywhere.
There was a hallway that was. In the background, there's a sign that says the shipyard, and it's like, no, you're inside the ship right now. So are you saying there's
That's when they're on land. That's when it's docked, Steve. That
I know, but
it'd be funny if there was like just a sign on the boat that just says dry land.
Drylandia.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's just, yeah.
I like how the professor's been a bastard the whole time and is literally the reason all this is happening. But then he just like lets a kid on board the boat. So now he's not the worst, I guess. Like Ghost Captain spares him at that moment.
Well, like, so he's a
kind of spares him, but not really.
Yeah. He's a swindler. He's a misogynist. He like tries to fuck other dudes' wives. But in the end, he didn't want a Titanic 3 to happen. He didn't want the situation to reoccur a third time. Because if we remember, it's happened a second time. Which makes me wonder.
Correct.
Makes me wonder, why didn't he have artifacts from the second crash as well? I mean, it was just for like smaller cells.
Well, here's a great question. Why? What is the connection? And I have not seen this Titanic 2, but is that the professor is tied into some sort of larger conspiracy type thing? Because that's when the captain was forced to bring Brian, the head of security, on when they already had a full security team, and they insinuated that that was sketchy in a way, and it was coming down from corporate. And they kept talking about calling corporate, and I'm like, who is corporate? Like Poseidon? Like, who the fuck is corporate? But they go, he calls, even the captain's like, I gotta call corporate. I'm like, you're the captain. But anyway, they kind of insinuate that there's some sort of like overarching ill dealings that are happening, and that the professor is like the supplier, if you will, but there is reason, like the ultimate goal of this cruise or this I don't know, venture is to sell the artifacts. So like the professor didn't fund the ship. No. Corporate is involved in some. So I don't know the second movie, but is there some sort of conspiracy there where like, you know, an like umbrella corp type situation?
That we might have understood this movie better if we would have watched Titanic 2 first.
I'm just saying we should all go back and watch Titanic 2 and then watch this one again.
It's a big no for me.
That's no for me, dog.
Yeah, I do not believe there is a link between either of them. Although, I'm looking right now at the Wikipedia for Titanic 2, and just in the cast list, I would like to point out that Brooke Burns, she plays Dr. Kim Patterson, a glaciologist.
A glaciologist?
Did they deal with corporate people too? Because I feel like that's the only way there would be a connection, if they somehow answered to corporate. You know what? This is such a relatable movie. I'm now on board, guys.
I've changed my mind and I'm fully on board.
Yeah, as far as looking into corporate, I think Brian's just reading deeper into bad writing than he should.
Yeah, could be. Could be, guys. Could be. Yeah, I mean, we're spiraling towards the end of this piece of shit movie. But you know, essentially what happens here is the ship sinks, as you can imagine, or whatever. They're on a lifeboat.
Or whatever.
And then, or whatever. What the fuck? And then the captain and the professor are basically doing the kind of Rose and Jack thing, kind of like where they're floating on.
But I wish the professor would have drowned. Yeah,
but instead he just freezes to death. And then comes the end of the movie is just the most predictable jump scare in cinema history. Like you knew it was coming from 1,000 miles away. And then, and then fin.
And then that's it.
Credits roll.
Yeah.
Don't watch it.
No, not at all.
It's awful.
I wanted to just jump back to one. We talked about how shit the CGI is all throughout.
Yeah.
But like, again, they front loaded the good CGI to kind of hook you in. But there's a scene when the ship is sinking and it tips, it lists upward like the original Titanic. And then they show all the deck chairs like falling down the deck, but there's no people Like, it's just a completely empty ship because it's too hard to animate people fall down as well.
Oh, I thought there were people falling, but maybe it was just like a bunch of
They
shit.
were in other scenes, but not in that cut where because I did notice that. And I also, one thing I forgot to mention, which I noticed early on, was like before they even departed, or maybe it was right after they departed, but it was when it was still daylight out, they were standing on the deck, and it's this super fancy, state-of-the-art ship with all these luxuries for all these rich people and blah, blah, blah. But the deck, this is when they're on the deck of a real ship. The deck is filthy and rusted and just looks like absolute shit.
Yeah.
So like that was the one scene they shot like on an actual deck of a ship. Maybe not the one scene, but the only one in daylight. And you clearly see that this was an old beat ass ship they were shooting it on.
Yeah. I think they have access to a ship that they've used and reused again that they just constantly shoot on. It's like I don't know if it's dry docked or if it's just docked somewhere in California, but there's a boat they reuse all the time.
Yeah. It's the same boat you see in like every fucking movie. Oh, also one other quick thing. I don't know if you guys caught this or if I was reading into this too much, but when Not Rose is doing her little ritual to bring back the ghosts or whatever of the fucking deceased, when she's down in the, basement or whatever in the hull of the ship, she does a full-on Rose pose where she puts her arms out to the side.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch that? That was like the final element of her spell going through. I was like, oh, Jesus. And they even tried to make the one woman who gets her like head cut off, and like I said, the only like half decent kill, which still sucks ass, but she is clearly wearing something that is supposed to look somewhat like the Claire's version of the Heart of the Ocean, diamond or whatever it is.
They said they had the Heart of the Ocean one. I thought they did, but
maybe could have been. Like I said, totally. I was not even paying attention a little bit at that moment. Probably
the Wish.com Heart of the Ocean,
right?
Which means it's also white.
We've got the kidney of the sea.
Yeah. He got the liver of the Mon.
I'm gonna be on the liver of the Mon like in like a week and a half.
Yeah.
We've got the spleen of the Caribbean.
It really is a genuinely very bad and not entertaining movie. If you want to get like high and make fun of it, you could, but there are way better movies to do that too that are a lot more entertaining.
It's not even drinking game worthy. Like, I have to because I feel like when we talk about bad movies, there's sometimes an opportunity to have fun with it and do a drinking game. Or be stupid
I think like a couple drinking game rules you could think of is like anytime you see like the mask on, and I mean like the digital mask on a ghost slip off or look bad.
Sure.
Anytime you see the bad green screen, anytime, and it's specifically like the captain's second in command. I don't know her name, but she's the one that's always doing the bad shit improv and is the one that says, I can't control the controls. Anytime she looks like she's trying to improv some bullshit, you could take a drink on that, but...
Yeah, I bet honestly if we watch this movie again, and I'm going to give it some time and I'm going to come back and I'm going to watch this movie again, I do think there could be some more things you pulled out that are genuinely very funny because I can't control the controls, I can't control the Titanic. And a couple that is honestly genuinely funny. I can't control the controls. I can't control the Titanic. There are a couple really funny lines like that are almost worth it, but like, you could also go watch Troll 2 and it's like way better. You know?
Right.
Way more fun. But holy shit, don't watch it.
I'm honestly like disappointed in the Asylum because like they put out some real goof ass stuff that's pretty great. And it's all the stuff that involves animals like Sharknado, Zombies, what the fuck else? Any of the like lava lantra or the fucking five-headed shark.
Octoshark versus giant goldfish or whatever the fuck. Yeah, there's some dumb stuff like that.
Yeah, there's some genuinely like goofy and funny stuff, and then especially if you get like an actor who's kind of fallen out of the graces of the public, you know, like somebody who was a star and then is acting in that, they'll give you an interesting performance. This is just like
get a Scott Farkas in here.
Yeah,
he'd kill it.
Yeah, but like this is just, I don't know, just when the best you can do is Annalynn McCord.
Yeah. Was Santa Jaws an Asylum film?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm not sure, but that one is pretty fucking fun. I'm not gonna lie. Santa Jaws is absolutely worth a watch.
Is that a great white with just like a big beard on right now? It's like
no, it's a great white with a Santa hat on.
A shark for Christmas.
Oh, it sounds just like cute. Like it literally just sounds cute.
It's fucking awesome. I mean,
would
Santa
I just
Jaws.
Be like, aw, the entire time. I'd be like, oh,
yeah. I mean, probably. Yeah. Santa Jaws is a treat. I would say it is absolutely worth a watch. It is one of my favorite.
Do we have a subgenre of like movies like that? Even if we just put Asylum in there or like Asylum-esque films, I don't know if we do. Yeah, but if we don't, we need to add that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I could do that. It's almost like a full moon. Honestly, we have more depths to plumb within full moon features as well. But yeah. Well, speaking of topics for other shows, I was able to access what our topic is for May.
Oh, goody!
Any guesses?
Well,
I'll remind everyone. Friday the 13th movies, Nickelodeon Halloween, and Tromaville.
Yeah,
I think it's Friday the 13th. It's not that I want that one, but yeah.
I think because Twitter came up as a tie between Friday the 13th and Troma, I'm going to guess it probably went to Friday the 13th.
It did fairly decidedly, not a runaway, but it was, you know, a reasonable pull ahead. But last I checked, Troma and Friday the 13th were kind of neck and neck. I think there was only a few votes separating them, but then ultimately Friday the 13th did pull away a little bit. So Nickelodeon Halloween goes right back in the old fucking
I feel like for
wheel,
this one we might need to do one where it's like a random like act. Like we each don't get to choose the one, we have to get it assigned to us.
You know what though, for like something like Halloween, I would say yes, but for this, I think people have a pretty different, you know, take on where these movies like, because there's a lot of people who obviously love the first one. There's a lot of people who love the second one, weirdly enough, and then 4 and 5 honestly are probably like 4, 5, and 6 are my favorites, and then there's actually a lot of people who also dig 8, which is Jason Takes Manhattan. So it's actually pretty wide open, I feel like.
Question about this though. Are we going to include Freddy versus Jason?
Boy, oh boy. I mean, I don't see why not.
Yeah. I mean, if you really want to, I'll just forewarn you. I don't think it's that good, but...
No. I mean, I like Freddy versus Jason,
I like it.
But it's not... I wouldn't be picking it.
Right. I'm just... So I guess, Meg, you know, be aware.
If you'd like
you
to.
can have it if you want, but you have to really work.
That's the one I'm going to take right now. I'm just joking. No, I'm gonna have to I'm not as versed in that world as you guys are, so I'm gonna have to do some little research here, and so I'll spend the rest of the weekend deciding on
watching Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah,
but you guys gotta let me choose first.
I am going to throw this out there as well too for maybe an upcoming minisode. Taylor from Abjuration. I don't know if you guys know.
Taylor.
Yeah. He, first of all, he asked Meg to not barrel shame him because he said, I listened to the episode and we're not a half barrel brewery. We're only 3.5, but stop barrel shaming us.
What did I barrel shame?
You said they were like a half barrel system.
Yeah. You called them smaller than they are.
Okay.
Yeah, he was joking. But anyway, he also
I understand
suggested
penis size is sensitive as stuff. Like, I get it. Like, I get it.
he also suggested, which I think we should do this because when we were talking about horror comedies, we didn't pick this one because it's such a runaway.
Yeah.
Or we did, which is Shaun of the Dead.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think we took that one off the table because of that.
Because it's just too good. So we, especially after this absolute piece of shit. Now we already have next episode planned, but one of our upcoming minisodes, I think we should do Shaun of the Dead because I haven't watched it in probably a couple of years, and I fucking love that movie. So
I'll like listen to the Red Fang song that they based that like their one video off of too for that too, and then we'll like.
Oh yeah,
it's such a brilliant movie.
I can't remember. They won the cream one. It's like something cream. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Fred Armisen's in the video. It's funny.
So.
That's awesome.
Well, all right, boys and ghouls. That was a lot of fun. The movie wasn't, but talking about that piece of shit was. Now go out, watch all the Friday 13th movies back to back. Then, did I mention smoke drugs? Smoke drugs. Watch all the Friday 13th movies. Then DM us or comment or do something on the old social medias and tell us which your favorite is and which one should win, because it is a polarizing topic, and I think there is going to be some bloodshed. There's going to be some jackknife power bombs. There's going to be a frog splash or two, and somebody's going to take home that goddamn strap. Do we want to talk about what we're doing next week? Because we do have kind of a fun little interesting thing for next week.
We know what it is, so might as well preview it. So
yeah, tell us about it.
So next week, and man, this bums me out because this is a movie that I should have picked and I might have won the showdown with this month.
Because regrets suck, bro.
Well, yeah, because I didn't know that neither of you knew this movie. But there was a Bigfoot film filmed in Pittsburgh area. It was filmed in mostly the Elwood City area. It stars Craig Wooten, who most people know as Pittsburgh Dad, and it has Darius Chisholm in it, and like a bunch of other people you'll recognize, mostly
local Pittsburgh celebrities.
I believe it's just called Bigfoot the Movie. Again, it's on our Crown King, the Tubi. And then we have Bigfoot Benjamin, who is probably the biggest Bigfoot expert, and we're going to bring him on to talk about this movie because he knows a lot more about the Bigfoot and the Sam Squanches and the Yeti.
I heard he's going to be in costume too.
I didn't hear that, but good for him.
Yeah. Listen, if we think for 1 second that he doesn't have some sort of Squatch costume, or he has like a vial of Squatch piss that he spent money on Amazon that he puts behind his ears when he goes into the woods.
Do you think he has the suburban Sasquatch stilts?
Maybe. I feel like they're probably pretty easy to acquire
or just build.
Yeah. So that should be fun. So we're going to have a guest on, which we haven't had a guest in a little while. So that'll be super fun.
It might get chaotic because I think we're going to be in person and there's going to be 4 of us in. Because usually when you guys guest, I'm not here.
Yeah. So. And we're drinking. And if the video of you and Ben shotgunning beers is any indication, it is going to be a full-on Keystone Cop situation. Ben's going to be scrambling around getting sprayed in the face with his beer.
We'll do a retake video of that.
We should. We got to repost that ahead of time.
But it has to be with the cans still hitting each other and Ben not freaking out.
Yeah.
Never cross the cans.
I call mine, bro.
That will be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that for next week's minisode. And then is the week right after that? Then the old showdown. Yeah. So we're coming up quicker than we think. So, all right. Again, if you want to contribute to this madness in some capacity and give us a little bit of suggestions or vote on things or just see some spooky stuff on the internet, check us out at Halloween is Forever pod at gmail.com if you want to email us. But we also have the Instagram is at Halloween is Forever pod, Halloween is Forever podcast on Facebook, at Hallow Forever on Twitter, Halloween is Forever pod on the TikToks. Yeah. Anything else? Anything else we're forgetting?
Nope.
I gotta drink this dang beer. I'm sitting here letting it get warm. For the Halloween is Forever crew, I'm Brian.
I'm Meg.
I'm the King of Tubi.
Die.